Yeah.
There we go. Let's see what happens.
It looks like it's loading. It's just spinning right there.
Okay.
I think we're on.
Okay, I think we're live now. Can everybody see it? Okay, got it live. Go. We got it. All right, guys. Thank you first of all for joining the post premiere live discussion. We have Marcellus Risman and myself, CryptoRex, and the video was great. First of all, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Vandar and the team that went and created everything that they did. It was a spectacular premiere, and it was great. It talks about a lot of the future and the roadmap that we have going, which was also a community effort as well. So thank you for joining us. It's 7/21, July 21st, 2019, 2 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. UTC. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it, and we're going to talk about the different dynamic components of the roadmap that is ever changing. And I would also like to say first as well that the way we're able to accomplish the components on the dynamic roadmap is through VaultZ or volunteerism. So that's what the community moves forward. That's how this community moves forward. It's a lot of effort from many different people, and a lot of times unpaid. So we've come a long way, and this roadmap is just what is going to show us that we're going to continue the progression forward. So I hope you guys had a chance to look at the premiere. We're going to go ahead and jump into the one of the major things that we've had going on for I think about over a year now. The BitcoinZ payment gateway, which allows merchants and websites to accept payments through different plugins. And we had a dev that came in and just kind of made it for us, and we were able to use it. Something happened there, and Marcellus and his team, the BTCZ app team as well, they jumped in and they got it back up and running, and they even added more solutions to it. So that is one of the major things that we have that's been going on for a while. Is we have our own basically community hosted gateway, payment gateway, and I've had a couple of sites that I've integrated it myself for different people, and it works great. And it's a very good feature that we have, because as you know, there's many gateways out there, and to have our own, it means a lot to us in the community. I'm going to go ahead and as well. I'm going to post a link in the chat here. I think the Mystic Symphony website, they have been pretty instrumental in using the payment gateway so they can sell their album. And I think Marcellus has a few things to say about that. If you want to go ahead and mention what you need to, Marcellus.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm pleasant to present this gateway. And now we have some websites that are working on it. And the first live test that we would like do, we checked it with some community member, is effectively the Mystic Symphony website. We do a very nice price about the album that you can buy with BTCZ. So yes, and we also would like be happy to help you to make your own CubeCart or WooCommerce or other website that need to pay with this. Yeah.
Yep. And there's other websites, I believe, in the BTCZ directory website. I think this has a list of. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in the chat. This has a list of sites that accept BitcoinZ, whether through the gateway or not. I think it's mostly through the gateway. I think that's the way it's done. So there's a list of other things there as well. And I want to also mention to Mystic Symphony, those people and the members that are involved in that. Thank you very much for those efforts, because we use that music quite a bit. I think Vandar uses it for a lot of the background music as well. So it's thank you very much for that as well. Anything else on that for now, Marcellus? Good. Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
No, nothing so
Okay.
much. But yeah, as you said, we worked a lot on this, and now it's all the time to test it. And yeah, if you also see an issue on this, so you're welcome to submit it on the Discord channel or the community channels. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcellus. And again, just to really thank you as much as well for picking up that undertaking that yourself, because you saw that there was an issue and you just jumped in and did it. So thank you very much for that as well. The next thing that we have on the dynamic roadmap that we have is the TechZ, which I think we released this last year through Renews. It kind of put it together pretty quickly, and I think we did a live testing this last year as well. But there's extra functionality that I believe Marcellus and his team are working on to expand the functionality and to integrate it with other cryptocurrencies as well, which is a major effort to build eminence for BitcoinZ in the community, so we can get out there more. As you know, we are out there. We exist in a lot of different places, and just one of the things that we have going on as well, along with the other things. And I think Marcellus is also really heavily involved in this. Is that right, Marcellus?
So yes, I worked on this too, yeah, and thanks Renizit code that I make and the concept that they give me. So we have something that is now working. I will just put the link on the chat. If you can see it, it will be fine. Is it? You can copy and paste it, so it will be fine. And it's also a test gateway that for now is working with some interesting function. And we're working hard to make it possible to buy some telephonic credits for some country that only have this to exchange if you want. If you want telephonic credit in some country, they can pay with this after if they would. So it's interesting to see it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're saying that you're expanding internationally to use other currencies as well, other types of maybe currencies people can send to each other. Okay, got it. I didn't get that link, Marcellus. Was there another link that we had to post in the chat? The web link. Is there a link for the TechZ? I don't know if I caught that right. There it is. Oh yes. How could I forget that? Yes. That's it. Yep. That's right.
I just passed it to you, so
Got
you
it.
can put it with the link. It's
Thank
better.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Great. Yes, that's
So I will say that other people in the team working on this website, it's not everything done for now. It's a lot. It's still a lot of work to do, and everyone is welcome if would like help on it.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's great. So that's the TechZ component of the roadmap, and like mentioned earlier, it's come a long way thanks to Marcellus and the community and everybody involved in it, and it can only grow. So that's another major component we have. So this is a digital eats, as you know, this debuted I think last year as well, Rizman, on the restaurant Kiosk, and this is also a very very important component of the community, so we can continue to grow our eminence in the cryptocurrency space. So if you have something to say about that now, Rizman, or
Yeah, yeah. Can you guys
okay?
hear me?
Yes, can hear you good.
Yeah. So like the last time we were on video with this, we were working. We did the initial debut of the product, and we were working towards the integration with the auto exchange through SafeCoin. Since their last communication, I think it's about a week ago, we're almost ready to launch the auto exchange functionality integration with the product through SafeCoin. And in addition to that, we have some pretty interesting developments that have been, even though it's been very quiet and I've been very low keyed on, during my move and everything. It was intertwined with that. We're still moving forward with it. If you go to the next slide there, one of the big things that we've been looking to do is get some clarity from a legal perspective here in the States on the product and how it's going to be able to, in order to be able to make sure that we're complying with the laws within inside of the U.S. And one of the interesting things that I definitely recommend this guy. If anybody out there has any kind of compliance related questions on a project they're working on, Jim Vidonic with Innovative Capital Law has been very helpful in navigating some of the concerns with that. And what has essentially come out of that is the ability. Number one, we're looking at from the interpretation, and this is not to be considered legal advice, but just from my engagement with him, it's essentially come out to where he does not believe that the actual running Kiosk C inside of multiple restaurants and things, it does not fall into any of the areas of concern, such as money transmitter or for example, an exchange in that case, and you actually would be considered a user in the case if you are utilizing Kiosk C in your environment. So it really helps give some clarity as to whether or not this is going to be legal. And when we move forward into actually introducing this into businesses, it's giving us availability to have some clarity to show them, like, look, this is something you can do, and there's the legal, from a legal perspective, that you're not going to fall on the wrong side of the law, which is huge in general for the product, right? So now, since I will say it's since the last interaction where we introduced Kiosk C, we've had some major seismic shifts in the markets, which really has been kind of put a tamper on the growth of the product. There's like when we first launched, we had a lot of interest in it, but with when Bitcoin tanked out, it's a lot of that dried up. So what we're looking to do is do and with relaunch with safe trade integration, we're looking to change the model to where really anybody around the world that wants to use it and actually build a business off the platform, they'll be able to actually do that. So like the binaries, we're going to publish the binaries for folks to use, as well as in some fashion the actual 3D STLs for 3D printing the devices at some point. And in addition to that, we're actually working on actually revamping the design of that. So one of the big concerns with this is just the time it takes to assemble the models. We've been working to simplify that and actually reduce the footprint of the device as well in the process. So as we go along, there's going to be a lot more development going into it, but that's pretty much like the update as of where we're at now. There will be more to come in the future. I just don't want to put any kind of a timeline on it that we can't
right.
we can't deliver on, just because the fluidity of things.
Yep. Awesome. That's awesome. So in a sense, you went and you seek some legal advice, on potential implications, and their opinion was that you're not, really acting as a money transmitter based on their opinion.
Correct.
On their legal opinion.
Correct.
Okay.
Under their legal opinion, it would not be considered the nature of what it's trying to address, and it's specific. And again, it's not legal advice for anybody out there. I recommend reaching out to a lawyer or Jim, for that matter, if they're interested in that product. But from the scenario that your original intention of this product and the way that we would go about, I would go about marketing it in my area. They're saying that it does not fall under money transmitter or as an exchange through that, and so that will, there'll be more details as to what that scenario that was presented to them in the future. But essentially, you're considered as a user, which opens a door for opportunities to grow and actually maybe even build a business around the platform.
Got it. And this image, this mold, it looks like that we have here on the screen now, is that just a new approach to designing it, or for mass production, or what's the?
Yeah, so it's, if anybody that knows a little bit about 3D printing design, it's very time consuming, and the actual act of actually 3D printing the device. So you figure on an average printer, it's going to take you probably about a week per device on there. So you got to kind of divide and conquer it out. So if you want to have 10 per week, probably going to run about 10 devices printing 24/7 for that. So the idea, that was with the original design. So the idea here is to try to redesign it, reduce the amount of material required for the chassis, as well as the time that it takes to print these things, and to keep the footprint smaller, because this is probably about 50% smaller for the table space.
I see.
On this design.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great to hear. There was the question: do you have initial restaurants willing to engage with you?
So there's been some. It's been that whole process has been fluid.
Okay.
When we first was engaging, that was specifically, we were looking in the state of Florida to potential spot. So since then, I have relocated to another state. So now I'm looking to reinitiate that in my area, in my patch. Now the good news about this is, like I said, the model is going to change. So the idea is that other folks, some of the people that are in the audience here today, would be able to take the platform and actually engage businesses in their area and actually service them in the same way, ultimately. So that's the goal as it stands today. But right now, there's no active. We don't have anything active in the area where I'm at. I am planned within the next couple months to go out and actively solicit some of these businesses for that. But until going through the legal concerns and things of that nature, that's the goal first on that.
Gotcha. Cool. Moving on to the next one here. This was a major community effort by, and I say major all the time because this takes a lot of effort. The community, gathering a community together to kind of go after the same mission and goal. It's a difficult process sometimes, but I think we're seeing it build out now. I think the vision of it has always been to be a strong community, and Hydra is one of the critical components. I would say one of the missing pieces that we had in the beginning, when we didn't really, there was a sole person, that was in charge of the the coins, the funds, the community chest that changed. So we've changed that, and this is part of the evolution of that. So the Hydra structure was proposed. Vandar basically went after everything he could, and the community got him, rounded everyone up, including myself, and proposed this Hydra structure. So the Hydra structure goes hand in hand with VaultZ in a sense that these sub components, or these sub wallets, they come from the VaultZ, which really is a process. As we launched it, and it goes, the coins, I think it was 5% was voted, the community voted 5%. So that goes to some coins, multi-signature addresses, and then from there, this is a plan to have sub-wallet managers. And I think there was elections that are ongoing, and they will. These are the components that they're gonna exist in the sub-wallet structure. So social media, charity, which social media has been really, I mean, it's been getting hit hard by Rock and Vandar and Followings and everybody, and charity as well. I know that Followings has over 1 million some coins, and he's actively pushing out a charity program. So that's great as well. Bounties. So this is a major thing about it as well. VaultZ to help propel the the continued progression and growth of BitcoinZ and its community. I'm going to myself revamp the info board that we have now and actually have a jobs board that the community can vote on how much they believe a certain project should undertake based on everybody's input. So we would list that on their jobs board, and anyone that wants to learn about it or wants to help the strong community that exists now to help propel those other projects or really roadmap components. That's what this is going to, that's one of the things that it could be used for that, and putting it on the board, simple to find, listing all the projects, all the components of our roadmap and tie it to a BitcoinZ reward or a price. That's going to be one of the things that we use this for as well. And it's just overall a decentralized effort in growing and expanding the BitcoinZ project. So I would be good, to mention that everyone should keep an eye out for the election process. I know there was something going on before, and I think there's going to be some updates coming out from Vandar, but we need to push it. I'm trying to push it as well to get that out there, to get these sub-wallet managers, because that just means that we can extend our reach further and grow deeper roots into our community. So I think that's a major progression forward as well. Any questions about that in the chat? Okay, cool. Moving forward, so VaultZ, as I mentioned earlier, it's tied into the way the Hydra structure works. So we got 5% of the block rewards, and that's working really, really well. Thanks for Newsit again for testing that or implementing it and testing it the way we did. I think it was really fun to implement it. By the way, we were going back and forth, and it was fun getting that tested. And we actually ran a couple of different things to make sure that it was working right and that the keys were generated correctly and so on and so forth. But this is the BitcoinZ community's funding mechanism, so to speak, and it's automated. It's and it was all based on the community as well. That's one of the major things that I like about this community, is that we can come together and make a decision about it, and everybody can have their input and really see have a hand in the way it grows as well. I just pasted a link that talks about VaultZ, and it talks about, or it shows the amount, in the VaultZ addresses. Another thing that Marcellus did. Marcellus is all over the place, doing so many things. So that link that we just posted, it shows the accumulated amount of the VaultZ coins and how much the community budget is. So you can see that we can break that down and have sub components, sub managers, as we mentioned in the previous slide. There's a question: Is a low price preventing us? Personally, I don't think so. It depends on how you see it. This is a long-term effort from everybody, including myself and the community. So price is not something. I mean, Vandar and I are always going back and forth in chat talking about how price doesn't matter to us because we're trying to grow the project. Yeah, does it matter to a lot of people? Yeah, it does. But we're working on growth, adoption. Price, yeah, it does propel a lot of different people. A lot of some people just want to make a quick buck, but we're not in it for the quick buck. We're in for adoption, and we're in it for innovation, and we're in it for growing a community. So I don't think so. If for example, somebody has a project, they're gonna come forward and say, we want 500,000 coins, and it's worth X amount in US dollars. Well, yeah, that's how much it's worth at present value. But keeping this going really is what matters more. And honestly, I was thinking about it the other day myself personally. I could run 10 nodes and the chain stays alive, right? It's that simple. The core of it is the strongest piece. So all the nodes, that keeps the project going, right? That's the core of the way the system works, the blockchain, the way blockchain works. That's what we have to do. So price, considering price or not, nodes are running, communities alive. That's really the most important piece for me. If anyone else has anyone to say about that, I don't know if you want to jump in on that. Any questions? Yes, the electric Hydra structure followings, yes. Yep, I agree with that. Okay, moving on to the next slide. I know there was a lot of talk about masternodes in the beginning, and I think this is a different approach to trying to have that kind of protection. This is something that has come up since the beginning, and community has talked about it. And since it's really a community-driven approach to the way we progress and we implement things, it's really about securing the safety of the network more so than trying to get paid or gain coins from it. It's not going to be that type of style, or at least from what I understand. But we would keep the character of POW because the vision in the very beginning of this project has always been to really have anybody that has a video card, they can mine, they mine it and they earn some coins, right? Now you can't compare that to a mining farm that they earn 100,000 coins, a day or something. It's not necessarily for that, but the masternode approach is to protect us from having manipulation of the way, double spend attacks or 51% attacks, so on and so forth. It just helps to secure that even more so than it is now. So I think that was the discussion about it. And it's not about really necessarily locking your coins down to and earn, extra coins for just, running it. Although it's a good approach for some projects, I think we're more security oriented, and it's not about, amassing millions and millions of coins and then earning it based on the amount you own. So it's more about security, right? So I think that's something that's up for discussion, and we'll probably see a proposal that goes, along those lines. So
yeah, one of the things we were kind of mulling, or we were just talking in conversation, was doing something similar to where just the dust from the transaction goes to the masternode operator. So at least, while the lion's share goes to the miner, there's something that, there's some kind of a benefit to a user that's wanting to run a masternode kind of a thing. Just it's completely open, and that may not be viable or interesting, but it's completely open to discussion, and definitely looking for input on that from the community by large.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, there's got to be some incentive tied to it, or really the incentive for me is, the incentive is also keeping the chain secure as well. So, but we gotta be all encompassing at some point, right? So that's the way, and I'm looking forward to seeing more discussion on it as well, as you mentioned, Rizman, and the community at large.
Right.
There was I think there is an onboarding component to the dynamic roadmap, where we have a site that really just specifically targets newcomers and containing a bunch of easy guides. And I know that we did have one for a while, and it was good work. I think it was oh man, I caught myself there. I don't remember who it was. I'm so sorry to say that, but it was a guide website that talked about mining and had a bunch of different things on it there listed. It talked about a lot of the a lot of the components of the wallets and how to mine and so on and so forth. So I think tying this together with search engine optimization is something that Vandor has been talking a lot about, even in just the general channel. Has been talking about having more search engine optimization focused websites so that we can even dig even deeper into into the space. So this is part of the onboarding process of new people when they have all these questions and they want to just jump in and go. So this is part of what's part of what will help bring that process and accelerate that process as well. So the so similar to what we have now, the events so the event that you see now that's happening now, as we speak about this, is one of the ways to kind of come together and really have open discussions that are live so that more people are involved. A lot of people like live discussion. They like to be connected and they like almost instant feedback, especially nowadays. So this is going to involve a series of having new ideas and scheduling live meetings or scheduling live discussions, even if it's just a Discord meeting or a Discord chat. And everyone can give their input, can jump in and say, "Hey, this is this is my idea. These are the ideas of a group of people," and we discuss it and have milestone achievements. So this is kind of like crowd thinking through the with the community. So Z-Brain, it's really bringing all our brains together, like we do now. We bring everything together. The community comes together for a common goal, and this is just a way to keep that momentum going. To have a series of events, to everybody come together on a more regular basis. And I know I'm going to say this. I know that the current state of affairs in the crypto space has made a lot of things difficult, but personally, and I think a lot of people would agree as well, probably, that a lot of this has to do, the project itself has to do with wanting to continue to grow and adopt. And of course, the reward comes later. So we come together and continue to have these, swarm thinking events, and we can accelerate the growth even further because we get everybody on the same page. Any questions about that? I think I saw a question over here. I guess there wasn't a question. Okay. Exactly. Synchronizing people's ideas. Right. That's a more powerful approach. So the application, I think there's a lot of different ways to do. I think I've seen tip bots before in the BTC, in like Discord, and this application TipZ, or TipZ, as I would say, I guess, the approach to this is to allow us again to build the more eminence and get the coins, get people using it, because adoption is what matters. So you can target different YouTubers, streamers, different artists, influencers. Like we have the Mystic Symphony. They're things like that are also help adoption as well. So this connected with BTCZ.me, which is another Renews It feature. It's great, by the way. You can you basically send your address in a URL, and your URL comes up. It's really simple to use. So if you can go in social media and start building out and start letting people know that this exists, they'll sign up for it, and you'll see BTCZ me links all over the place. And that's what fosters adoption, continued adoption. And it can be anywhere. These are just some of the examples of YouTubers, artists, and influencers, right? They have their link and they share it, and the coins value gets transferred back and forth. So that's one of the things. That's one of the things that can also help build eminence, and it is a lot easier to share instead of sharing your whole T1 address, it's better. It's a lot easier to share a link. There's a question here. Legal thing, should we start trademarking our project's names? I think that's a long conversation to have because, and this is, of course, none of what we say here is any form of financial or legal advice. But with that said, trademarks, from what I understand, require, a legal entity, whether it's a person or a company. And I think that our approach has been to be as open source as we can be. And that's not to say that there aren't protections probably, but it takes, a matter of researching the best way to do that. And honestly, as a community, there's perhaps somebody that would want to do that. And it's built on top of the BitcoinZ blockchain anyway. So they could trademark it and it can still be used. But honestly, the open source and the connected fashion that we are and the global size that we are, I think that I'd say it's even almost better to just go with it and put the name out there, really.
Right. That's one of the things about being, open source and decentralized is that, it's anybody can use it, anybody can go out there but, often, though it may be often replicated, it'll it's one of those, it's not owned by one entity at all.
Right. Absolutely.
Kind of the idea.
Okay. I know there was some work done. There has been some work done on Ledger and Trezor, or not both of them, but I think the Nano Ledger. I think this got put a little bit on the back burner because of the other things that were happening, as well as the market. I think a lot of sentiment in the market just really cripples people. It freezes them. And I think that on the Ledger project, as far as I know, I think it's just a matter of continuing the open communication that we've had with them. I think there are some people that have reached out from our community and trying to figure out how that can be implemented. The other thing is that I think they've come a long way in onboarding other projects in other coins. So this is also something that we can target and list it as a VaultZ sub that has a sub wallet assigned to it, right? So this is VaultZ is really the key and the progression forward to get these kinds of things, because there's a lot of developers out there that could easily do that. And yeah, Renews it said, right, some guys from Ledger, exactly. So I think it's a matter of just coordinating that. Hey Rock, how you doing? Coordinating those efforts and making sure that we can keep that communication going. I know there has been some work on it. I don't know what's better, Ledger or Trezor. I really don't know if it makes a difference, but I guess either one would make sense. Hardware storage is hardware storage, right? Could be anyway.
So,
was someone going to say something?
no, sorry, that was
okay.
That was me.
That's cool. I know. So the gamings, the excuse me, the first iteration of gaming development we had really early on in the project. I think we were maybe 3 or 4 months in, and we're talking. We're talking back in 2017, right? So we're actually going to be coming up on our second year. Is it going to be? Yeah.
I believe it is second year.
Going to be the second year. And so early on, there were some gaming developers, or there was a team that was building a game. So this is just a continuation of that, to pick up basically where those developers left off with the idea. So I know, and I also know that we did interface with some live tournament streamers for a little while, and I think it worked out, but I think it could have worked a little better. I think we could have laid down, the terms a little better. I don't think we lost out on it, but we didn't. It really didn't. We didn't really follow up as we should have, I guess. And I say that, in the best way. And there was a lot of things going on during that time as well. But that was one of the things we did. I think one of them is our moderator. I forgot where she is. I see her pop up every once in a while, but she connected us with some YouTube, some tournament gamers, and they kind of, they put our name out there, and some of the prizes were in the form of BitcoinZ. So those are just some of the things that we can also keep on going to, build that out there and extend our roadmap even further. And the development, that's what was going on early on. A few months in, somebody was building. I think they were using coins, and you can collect coins in the game, and you can actually earn coins in the game. So that, I think, would be a continued project, and something that we definitely need to list on our upcoming jobs board.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see more of that too. Just the development on that side, just not even something like just something that kind of rewards users in BitcoinZ for playing it. I think that would really go a long way for development in general.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Build awareness.
Yes, exactly. The market awareness. Oh yeah, so this was fun, guys. I know, ladies and gentlemen, not just guys, but everybody in the community. We were monitoring this, and I think it came to our attention that there were some form of it started as a time warp attack, and then they started kind of reorganizing the chain, but not really, within a few blocks. So it was a combination of things, and this prompted us to really quickly get together, RenewZit and myself, me really on the testing side, and we implemented this. And I think some of the credit goes to SnowGem as well. I think that was from what I remember, implementing a portion of their protection, so that we don't have, what they were doing, reorganizing it in a sense, couldn't happen anymore. And it was fun testing it, because I actually launched a 51% attack through the coordination, through RenewZit's explanation. We ran a 51% attack on our test network before we implemented this, and then we did it after, and it was successful. So there was no in other words, the implementation of security was successful after it was implemented and tested, and it was fun. So we were able to pinpoint some of the issues with it, and it's working great. We're protected, and as we continue to monitor it, and we notice any anomalies in the way the blocks are, being mined and created and confirmed, we adjust those accordingly. So this was a good thing that we were able to implement, and we did it pretty quickly. So and thank you, RenewZit, very much for that, and everybody for keeping their eyes on the way the rewards and the chains were going, because there is a lot of people out there that message us, whether directly or they put it in chat, and they let us know that there's something weird going on sometimes. And this was one of those times. So, and I like what it's called, Zeus's fingers. So we were chatting about it, and we were just saying, hey, this is like, what, we're gonna give the people that are trying to attack us the finger. So we named it Zeus's fingers, right? It was appropriate.
Play on words.
It is a play on words. There's a question here. Have you tried warp or other attacks? Is that hard to test? It wasn't hard for me to test, because it was on a test. It was on the test net. So I had, basically had my own, I had my own rigs really to test it. And, testnet is easy. That's really what it's for. It wasn't hard. But it gets harder, of course. It's based on hash power. So moving on. I think this goes hand in hand with the music that's been getting, especially with the Mystic Symphony and their album that they sell. And I'm going to go ahead and put that link again because we've had a lot of support from that team. Doing that, allowing us to use that music and also, accepting BitcoinZ for their album. And I think this is part of the way, another reason. If you notice that all these have a common, they really have a common characteristic, and that's building awareness for BitcoinZ, right? So developing a web radio, and having the support infrastructure, the plugins to allow somebody to have a web radio and have independent artists be out there accepting BitcoinZ as part of their radio broadcast, as part of their, having a web radio station is basically what it is. And it can be based on a number of things, one of them being, the number of plays for their track. So I think this is also, everybody likes, I haven't found anyone that has, maybe I haven't asked enough people, but everybody likes music and radio, right? I mean, it's just part of life. So getting something like this out there where there's a tipping feature involved, with independent artists and the community, because if you think about it, all of these, we call them independent artists, but we ourselves are, we're each an independent member of the community at large, and we all have our own talents and our own contributions to something like this. So this is something that, again, can build awareness, and I think we have a good way to on-ramp that through our current partnership, I would say, with Mystic Symphony and their ideas, because they're in the space. Okay. This one, I really love the picture. It's great. It's, it's something that just gives you, makes you warm in your heart. But I think Followings has a great, he's been pushing the social, the charity program that he has been running, and it's just been really, I think it's been very successful. And this is also part of helping, showing that BitcoinZ cares about people, about their freedoms, about their ease of being able to transfer value with each other freely. So I think that this also is good for saying, hey guys, we're a big community, we exist around the world, and we like to help people. And I think that goes a very, very long way, not only for adoption, but for showing that we have a community responsibility as well.
Just being good stewards, yeah.
Exactly. Followings, thank you very much for spearheading that and making it as dynamic as you have been, actually. So thank you very much for having that heart to help people, as as we should. Vandor thanks the band too. Yes, absolutely.
Yep, agreed.
Yes, I just would like add that I had a discussion with Vandar about this, and yeah, we make a really nice action about this, and yeah, you should profit from it, yeah. So we can test on the same way.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I definitely I want to see more of this as we go along. It's nice. It's good. It's good news, when you see everything else that's out there. It's nice to see having an impact.
Yes. A very positive impact. And see the partnership with different, like, even Safe. Yeah, you spearheaded that, Rizman. The partnership that we have with Safe Coin Trade.
Yep.
And so these are all the types of partnerships that even strengthen the foundation for BitcoinZ and the community even more. So great. It makes me really happy personally, and I'm sure it makes a lot of people happy as well. The workers, this kind of goes along what I had mentioned earlier, and I'm working on it to get a real jobs board out there. Nothing real difficult to understand, but something simple that says, hey, these are your community wallets. This is how much is up for that, or this is a project that we're listing that we need some freelancers to come in, and they're going to accept BitcoinZ, and that are in it for the same mission, right? For decentralization, for community growth and community involvement, and being able to have their their say, give their voice, to have their voice in the growth of it. And this is one of the ways that we can grow, what having onboarding so many different freelancers, and they can come back and even continue. They'll have, they'll list a project on there, they'll take the project on, on the jobs board, and then they can move on to the next one if they want, or they don't, right? Because that's what community is about. We can come in, work, and do what we need to do, earn what we earn. As long as the chain is going, it's stable, everybody's good, right? You can come, hop in and hop out. That's the way it works. That's what having an open source community is about. And I know a lot of it. I know Vandar's done a lot of graphic stuff. Marcellus and his team, rock, and just the programmers or developers. They create things. We're creators here. What we're creating is not only what you see, but it's also the culture. We're building a culture here as well. So that goes a long way for a global community like this. Are there any questions? Zcash is a friendly project. Yeah, I mean they I believe we're still listed with them there, in their wallet. I mean they've we've kept in touch with them. From what I understand, yeah, unless something has changed, I don't think.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's they did us a solid one with adding us to their wallet and everything with that. So I would definitely say so.
Yep. And they're also, they work hard as well. So our partners work hard as well as us. That's the only way it works. So a while we did implement the Zhash, and this is pretty much, it's complete. It's been working for a while now. And I know that the biggest key to this was to make sure that every, the 4 gig and above, I think, could stay in, or even less. I think it was maybe at least 3, or I think it was 4 gig. So we wanted to make sure. I know that there was other ones that were going out with a different implementation, but they was kind of locking other people out that had lower gigabyte cards. So I think this has worked great, and we continue to monitor to make sure that we can continue having a ASIC protecting ourselves from massive hash power through ASIC only miners. And we were the first, I believe. I think that we were the first to implement variation for ASIC. I think there was some other coins that probably had started out with another variation, another parameter setting, but we actually were the first ones to switch to really alleviate the ASIC only issue.
Yeah, I know that was just when we were the first one to actually pull the trigger on it and actually switch over. It was when I think Zcash was very close, if not at the same time. They were doing, I want to say it was the same as they were at least discussing Ravencoin at the time using their algorithm. Yeah.
Yep. I think it was, is it X16R or is
it? I believe that was what it was. They were. It's been a while now, but
yeah. So I think that's helped protect us, quite a bit, along with the other changes. Yep.
Yeah, huge thanks to Renewzit on that. That was completely instrumental. Couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. Swap to AMD Friendly. Okay. Cool. Actually, going back really quick to that, I think you mentioned Ravencoin, and I haven't confirmed it directly, but I have heard things that Ravencoin also got a lot of ideas from us, and or saw, not a lot, but got some ideas from us, and I think that's really cool to see, communities share things back and forth like that, share of different approaches and stuff. And I do believe that the 3, I'm not entirely sure. Mindaugas, I don't know if I think so, but I'm not entirely sure. I
I
tested
think
it a while back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was the what version of that was it was the 70, not the 60. Trying to think of what flavor card that is. I want to say R260
Oh,
was R270 and higher was if I remember right. I think that was I believe that was a 4 gig card. Let me check that.
I think it was. Oh, see. Okay, so following says 2 GB works. Mine did with the 1050 Ti.
Yeah, that's what I'm okay. So yeah, I know there was some talk that later down the line. Originally, it didn't because of the overhead, like running it on Windows. But I think the Linux guys were able to get it to mine.
Yeah,
At some point. I
yeah,
remember something about that. It's been ages ago.
yeah. This is the first that I see
Yeah,
the.
1060. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay, cool. Any other questions right now? Nope. Okay. So this is an interesting. This is an interesting slide here with the Lightning technology. I know that our transactions are pretty quick. They at least get broadcast and get noticed pretty quickly, and the confirmation is relatively fast as well. But I know there's been some talk out there about some type of, building some type of Lightning technology, or what they call, what they're trying to implement, or they have already, to make it even more instantaneous. But this is just one of the approaches that we can take for this. Me personally have not dug deeply into what this would involve or would entail, but I think this is something we can attract talent for, based on the community, and based on our VaultZ approach, and or our community chest. So that's right. Every member is amazing, and they can figure things out really quickly. And although I think this would also hinge on the Masternode approach as well, to see how those things could also help confirm transactions faster. But there's been talk, and this is new. This is really new. This is a new talk that I think has been coming up, and that's finding a way to make them even faster. Exactly. We should always push for quickness of exactly. So I think this is one of the things on the roadmap that doesn't overshadow, but would support all of the other components on the roadmap, right? People like to see it. It's fast now, but wait till we have even more adoption than we do have now. We could potentially run into a bottleneck, right? So this is one of the things that we look into to try and make it better. But everything we look into is to make it better, right? Any questions?
Any suggestions while we're at it too? Anybody
too.
have anything that they haven't touched on that they'd like just to throw into the the pit to be kind of discussed?
Cool. We'll hear about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, see it on the forum.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. So, how AMD friendly is our? I'd say it's pretty AMD friendly. It's really AMD. I mean, I run it on mine, and I'm primarily AMD. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Somebody wants to say something.
No, I'm saying I think Lowell Miner. I think it was the there was one that was a while ago that was released. So I'm sure there's even more at this point.
Yeah, and especially because a lot of other projects kind of followed along with the 1445 implementation, Zhash implementation. Yep. So yeah, and I think LOL Miner, whatever is still. Yep. I think he's still supporting it. He's still putting out updates, so he's still developing it. So This one, I put this slide here, and as a disclaimer, I want to just say if I forgot your name there, sorry, but I'm always looking at the people that are really, really active. So I want to give special recognition to Vandar, Marcellus, Rock, Followings, Gillard, Monobody, Tony Khan, and Dennis. So these are people that I've seen really active in the community. Monobody, I think he spent a long time asking me all these questions and I was responding. And he's just active there. So that and Tony Khan, I mean, they're doing all these social media things. Dennis, Vandar, and all of his extensive graphics work that he's done. And I want to say something also about Vandar. And I personally have seen your work evolve, Vandar. I don't know. Maybe you had you know, all these great things, and you were just kind of holding back. Haha. But I don't think so. I think I'm so happy to see that evolution in everything you've done. And Marcel is picking up, a lot of the app projects and just kind of turning the ideas into a program. So that's really good. So I want to thank everybody. Those get special recognition. And like I said, there's probably tons more because we're a big community. So thank you, everybody, and the greater community at large as well. So we can take some questions or some comments or suggestions, as Rizman said, for the next few minutes. $280X working on LO Miner 222. So okay, cool.
Pretty impressive for that card. That was one of the.
Yeah.
I was mining on those back in 2013, Litecoin.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome to hear those things are still going.
Yeah. Yeah, see, John's saying he runs 664 RX 480s. Yeah, I'm primarily AMD as well, and it runs great.
Yep.
Exactly, a nice community glue. Yes, exactly. Like you got to really have some really, really strong passion and endurance to push through a bear market, right?
Yeah.
Wallet upgrade. I think someone did mention that there's like I know that the Zcash team had approached us. Miles had approached us about the Zap. From what I know, it's still going. I don't know what needs to happen there, but I think there was some coordination on how it was going to work out. So it should be still there on the table. Running 8x 1070 Ti's on it's amazing. Cool. Make the Discord channel more active. Mm-hmm. Rewards aren't great, but hey, man, that's what happened to all people mining Bitcoin back in 2012, 2014. Yep.
It's a waiting game, and being patient and putting the effort in.
A tip bot. Yeah, there is a way. I think someone had one, but I don't know if it kept going. If we kept maintaining that or not, or whoever was running it, I think they didn't keep it up. The T1 address, similar to the Zcash addresses and all that. It's a Zcash core, and that's the address scheme that it uses. T1 addresses. Cool. Anything else? Anyone else want to say anything before we? Yes, BTCZ. Yes, must be updated. Yes, you're right about that. $1 million BTCZ just been given away to most active guys on social media. Another question, okay? Okay. Talking about the website already. Yeah, landing pages. Yeah, I did see that somewhere. I think it was one of the slides. That's good though. Yes. BZ Edge devs are part of BTCZ developers. No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, like any of the other projects we do coordinate. I know that Phonetico, when things happen between the projects, as far as like vulnerabilities, or we spot things and we coordinate with each other on behind the scenes. But I think it's more about helping each other more than being full-time dev, so to speak, on any project. Monthly 5-minute video update. Yep. Well, I think this motivates a lot of people, seeing how we do have. I mean, there is a pulse here, right? There has been always, and you can see it more than ever today. All right, guys. Anything else to say? I think we're just a little bit over the hour, and I'm looking forward to the continued progression and growth and everybody's hard work. It doesn't go unseen. And yes, I think we will be able to have more live, or at least community discussions, more lively. But with that, keep up the hard work. Thank you very much. What we're building out here, I think, is it's working. It's not easy to build an open source community like this, but it's been working, and I think that's one of our strongest points. Yep. Anything else, Rizman or Marcellus?
I got nothing on my end.
Okay.
I think we touched on quite a bit.
We sure did. We sure did. Okay.
Yes, I also thank you, especially CryptoX. You maintained the audience. It was a very good experience for me. So next time, if someone else with good English speaking can assist me, it will be very nice. Thanks to you all.
Of course. Thank you also, Marcellus, for joining us live. It was great to have you on here as well. And your English works for me, so I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. All right. We'll see everybody in the various social media outlets: Twitter, Discord, Telegram. And don't forget to like and share this video, as all of the YouTube streamers always say. Thank you, and happy Sunday evening, Sunday morning, Sunday night, wherever it is in your part of the world.